Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about using samples or small chunks of samples as oscillator waveforms. Now this video is somewhat inspired by a video Projector made on his channel. I'll probably link it below. But of course this is Spitbit specific and we'll take our own approach. So yeah, let's have a look at it. We're going to use the grid. However, a lot of this stuff you could probably also do by just using the sampler and inserting some modulators, but I just love the flexibility of the grid, so that's just what I usually default to. Okay, now let's insert a sampler, surprise, and browse for a sample. I want to use something which has kind of a few different timbres within the same sample, so I love to use these futurephonic glitch fills for that. Doesn't really matter what you take. I mean, all sorts of samples will work. But now, well, there is already a kind of a wavetable mode in this sampler built in. In my opinion, it only really works when you freeze the position. And now let's listen real quick. Yeah, we need to wire it up. Right. It sounds a bit dull. That's because we have the formant here as soon as you open that all the way. That is, in a nutshell, already what we are looking for, but I think the manual way just sounds a little bit better. So, but to that later. No, we should have a default sample and hold oscillator here. So let's duplicate that and animate the position so that we just play a different part of the sample on each note on. And now let's also add an arpeggiator. Yeah, I think this sounds really interesting. And I like that we have the formant here, but I prefer to do it in repitch mode. It just sounds better, and at the end of the day also gives us a little bit more flexibility. Okay, what we will need is this here, the phasor, just to deliver a signal to drive the oscillator waveform, so to speak. And we need a modulation out, and I also want an attenuator so that I can control the amount. Hook this up. And now we will modulate the sample position with this oscillator. We'll have to listen to it to see how much. Depends on the length of the sample, how much these 5% that we now have are. Okay. Yeah, with a short sample, you can almost go like 10%. And because we're using an oscillator to drive the position, this will always be in tune. It will, however, get more noisy the more you open that up, the more part you include in your oscillator waveform. So we should stay within some, reasonable portion of the sample. Okay, and with the attenuator now we can control how much of the sample, how big this chunk is, and this will influence the timbre mostly. Okay, that's already quite interesting. So, and of course, in Psytrance, everything is about modulation. So let's apply some modulation to it so that each note has a different timbre. Yeah, and we could already use it like that. Now let's stack two voices, which will give us 2 playheads for each voice one, and they will be at different positions. Okay, I would like to spread this out in pan, so go to the voice stack and spread it. If you don't have a mixer, yeah, insert one. Okay, just wanted to check that we're not clipping in the recording. Nice. Now, usually these kind of sounds do not have too much sustain because they are rather full sounding. There's a lot of timbre and stuff going on. So making them a little bit shorter keeps the sound clean. Okay, yeah, more randomness. I like to randomize the decay length. Yeah, but this now, because we have more than one voice, creates a different sample and hold position for each of the voices. And then we spread this out in pan, so we have different lengths left and right. And sometimes I might not want this. So in that case, we can pick up this device here and then add a modulation out after this. And this, yeah, as it indicates here, combines all the voices into a mono voice, and then you can select here what you want to do. Do we want the sum of all values? Do we want an average of all random values for each voice? The minimum or the maximum lost is fine, because it's just, I want one voice to deliver random values. And if we apply this now, it will not affect each voice individual and thus the stereo field. Okay, nice. I really wish they would build this into the LFO, because quite a lot of synths have this built in by default, that you can select whether you want an LFO to be global or per voice. And yeah, I would really appreciate it if that were a standard feature. Yeah, and we already have the color coding. You could then color code that arrow blue again to indicate that it is operating in mono or in global mode. So that would be a little feature request from me. Nice. Let's turn on some effects. But now, because we use this phasor as driver for our oscillator, we can use all of these phase effects. For example, we can use sync and create a sync sound. Yeah, it depends a bit on the sample length or on the timbre. Let's make this chunk a little bit smaller. I think it sounds better that way, probably. Yeah. Another parameter we could potentially randomize. But let's stick to this here at the moment. What I always like to apply to pretty much everything, also for FM, is a bend module, because it kind of influences the sound always in a very specific way. So or almost always. So, for example, when I pull this down and create a curve like this, it will sound more kind of watery, bubbly, rubberish. I don't know, sometimes difficult to find words to describe the sounds. And when I bend it upwards, the sound will, or usually tends to become more aggressive. So this is a really nice way to shape sound and take influence when you know what you're looking for. Of course, also a parameter we could potentially randomize. And what's also quite nice here about this is that, each sample will deliver different results. So you can just open the browser, select something else. I don't want to pre-listen it. Just listen to what you get. Let's turn that off real quick, the randomizer for the length. Yeah, as you can hear, it all sounds kind of similar, but still has kind of its own timbre to it, which, gives us a lot of flexibility. Of course, it's always interesting to find out whether it sounds good in a mix. So let's play some kick and bass. Yeah, very nice. And yeah, if we want, we can now do pretty much everything we can do with a normal synthesizer oscillator, like using glide, playing legato. Yeah, this is really nice. Or, well, use the voice stack, introduce some unison. I would be careful with that though, because we have a lot of overtones and a lot is going on in these quote oscillator waveforms, so it might sound out of tune or noisy rather quickly. So that was a rather short video. Hope you liked the content, you get some inspiration out of it, and if so, like, comment, subscribe, and see you next time. Peace out.